Hello there. How are you all? You caught me painting. That's my winter hobby. I don't do it as much in the summer. Busy summer, but I have one started here. And yes, all of us need hobbies to get through this cold winter season, don't we? We need something to do to get over the next few months. Be it skiing, be it painting, reading, you pick. Mine happens to be painting, and as such, I was super thrilled when we went on a recent shopping trip for the library and found this book, Bob Ross and Peapod the Squirrel. Pardon me, that's because my little tissue. Peapod the Squirrel. And this is written by Robb Pearlman, and illustrations are done that were from Bob Ross's paintings. So a little background on Peapod the Squirrel. Bob Ross was not just a painter, he loved animals, and he took care of stray animals, sickly little animals that would be in his neighborhood. And Peapod the Squirrel was one of his favorites. So the paintings you're going to see in this book are truly Bob Ross's paintings, and that's a whole other conversation. I truly think if you love painting, or playing with paint as I call it, I think it's good to look up Bob Ross's story. It's an interesting one. He took on painting later in life. Anywho, so that's the story we're going to read. And to honor Peapod, this is our craft today. We're going to do a little Peapod picture. Say that 3 times fast. Peapod picture. And we're going to put a little faux frame to put on our January Uber 2025 refrigerators or wherever you put it. Okay, you ready? You ready for a story? Let's go. Peapod the Squirrel and Bob Ross. So Bob Ross will talk about his happy trees and whatnot, and you'll see in just a moment. My little squirrel friend Peapod needs a new home because Peapod was just a little baby squirrel when Bob Ross started to rehabilitate him, making him healthy again. And now Peapod's all grown up. He keeps dropping pepperoni in my hair. Well, and Bob Ross had a very poofy hair style, and I guess things could get lost in there. That would be not very pleasant. We looked high and we looked low, but we couldn't find the right one. Wait! I have an idea. So this is Bob Ross's painting easel that he's going to set up. His paints, his easel, and all his brushes. So he has an idea for Peapod on how to find what Peapod wants, a new home. Now, then let's have some fun. So now Bob Ross is starting to do his paintings, and little Peapod is using the palette to play peekaboo. We'll use blue to paint the sky. So see how Bob Ross is starting to use the painting in the sky, and he goes darker on the top and he lightens down as he gets lower. Watch the sky, that's really how it looks. And then we'll use white to make happy little clouds that just float around and have fun all day. Now, Bob Ross made making little clouds look very easy. I have found it's not that easy. Just to say. We can use a painting knife too, which is like a regular knife, but you use it to paint and not make sandwiches. We use the knife to spread a mix of blue and brown and crimson to make mountaintops. So there's Bob's mountaintops. I used different colors on my mountaintops. Actually, I used a bunch of colors. But here he goes, and Peapod is soaring above them. Then we use a paintbrush to make the mountain bottoms is just that easy. And here's Bob Ross. He's got his bigger brush now and he's blending. He's doing his blending to take all these rough edges out and make it look like this transition. Peapod likes to ski, so let's add some snow for him. Oh no, there's nowhere for Peapod to go. Okay, so here's Peapod up on the newly painted snow in his little mini skis. He's going, yee-hoo! And it scared Bob Ross. Let's use green and blue to paint a meadow before he gets to the bottom. Phew! So just as Peapod was about to ski but had nowhere to land, Bob Ross paints very quickly the land. Peapod's quick stop made some of the paint go splat. Oops! So see, now we've got green on the blue mountains. I have an idea on what Bob Ross is going to do. Well, that's a happy accident. Don't worry, Peapod. We can do whatever we like in our world. So I knew it. He took the advantage and made all this green forest. Some tall, thin trees, some thicker trees. I just watched a whole video on his trees. Let's use even more green and blue and some brown and even some yellow to paint a whole forest of trees and bushes. So as you see, right, we have the background, the mountains and the sky and the clouds. Then we have the midground where we have the taller trees. And here in the forefront, we have all these smaller, lighter color bushes. And here he is, Bob Ross, inside his own painting. Here's your bravery test, Peapod. Add some more blue, and now there's a pond. Isn't that fantastic? I knew you could do it. So now he turns over the reins or the paintbrush to Peapod, and Peapod is now painting his own little pond in his makeshift world. How about a few more trees and bushes and grassy things? Let's just look at that and enjoy it. So again, he's going to mix colors so that it's not just these dark greens. He has mid greens, he has light greens, he even has some orange like it's fall. And we've got reflections started. I think we're finished, don't you? Now this is a home for my little squirrel friend, Peapod. Oh, what a world it is. And you see, as Bob Ross is standing on the rocks by the shore, okay, we have the mountains, we have the bigger trees, we have the shorter trees, and look at that beautiful green pond with the waves showing how the pond is breaking on the shoreline. Peapod is quite happy. And not bad. It's not a bad spot for me too. Happy painting. So Bob Ross has made himself a little hammock to enjoy the world with Peapod. And then in the very back, what Bob Ross's book tells us, if we want to try and make this same painting that we just saw, he tells us to get a canvas and get this brush and that brush and a painting knife, and he tells us the color paints to use. He says, and don't worry, if your painting looks different at the end, that's what makes it great. That is hard to take sometimes, I have to tell you. When you're painting, you're trying to make it look like another person's painting. It can come close, but in my experience, it will not be the same because you're not the same as that person. So this, you will have your own thumbprint, if you will, in your artwork. It'll end up looking like you in time. Maybe that makes sense? Okay, so on we go to our craft, and our craft has 2 parts to it. See you in a minute. Back we are, my little friends. Yes, we are. And I wanted to share this fun book I got years ago now, it seems, but it's Bob Ross Paint with Water. And it says, paint your way to a mellow mood. And who doesn't want that? But watch this. Okay, when I was a kid, I used to love these. Okay, Let's start up in the trees. Ready? All I have is water on this little paintbrush. Oh, it's magic. It's just magic. See the green trees coming? And sometimes the green trees aren't just the green trees. Sometimes I just white paint on myself. There you go. Now it could be, let's see what the rocks look like. Oh, they're still green. Oh no, now we're getting browns, etc., etc. And so you just keep going and the colors start blending and you do paint yourself right into a mellow mood. Okay, why am I talking about this book while we just had another book? Well, because part of your craft this week is I took sections of these paintable scenes, and even if you use your finger, right, with water on it, you too are going to be able to paint a little bit of a Bob Ross scene. I thought that was fun. Okay, so how do you do this one? Well, this is meant to be Peapod in my mind, right? Peapod with a little scarf on during winter. And so I decided that Peapod was going to have mellower tones, like, you know, the blue, silver blue of snowflakes. You can paint this any darn color you want. That might be super fun for you to have a pink squirrel, whatever you want. And then once that's done, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but I have little tiny eyeballs, wiggly eyeballs, which I thought made the painting fun. Then what you will have, once that's painted, you'll have a frame that I will put in your kit. And what I did is took these scissors that make these funky edges, and it makes it look like a wooden fancy frame. And you use a glue stick and you put it on the top. That one's a little thick, I gotta thin them down. Yeah, and then inside, because it's a winter scene, inside I will put some of these snowflakes, and you just glue them on to make your beautiful winter Peapod scene. Until sometime, say maybe a week from now, maybe 2 weeks, keep doing your winter crafting, and we will see each other and we'll see how we're doing. Until next time, bye-bye.